Vancouver, Camas, Battleground, Ridgefield, or Hockinson? Which Southwest Washington city is the best fit for you? I'm Jamie Mushaw with Jamie Mushaw Real Estate, and if you're new to the channel, we talk about all things Portland Metro and Southwest Washington, including current real estate topics. Vancouver, Washington is one of the oldest cities here in the Pacific Northwest. It has a role as an economic regional hub and a very vibrant cultural scene. Here in Vancouver, the population is about 200,000 people, and it has a huge growth rate over the last decade of about 1.58% per year. Even though Vancouver is seen as a suburb of Portland, it's its own entity as a growing city and major development going on here. One of the most major developments that we have is in downtown Vancouver. It used to be a huge industrial area, and it now consists of not only five-star hotels and restaurants, but it also has luxury condominiums and apartments. They all sit on a walkable waterfront of the Columbia River. And here in the near future, it's going to have a market that is going to rival the Pike Place market in Seattle. By 2045, the population in Vancouver is expected to grow over to 266,000 people. That's largely because of the urban development that's going on here and the economic opportunities for job growth as well. The median home price here in Vancouver is about $559,000. If you were shopping for a $600,000 home, you have a great variety of properties that you can choose from. Usually they're in a neighborhood that has been established. You can also find some newer construction probably in the last 10 years. If you find an older home, typically they're on substantially larger lots than the homes that were built in the last 10 years. You can usually find a 3 to 4 bedroom home averaging somewhere between the 1,500 all the way up to 2,200 square foot floor plan. If you're trying to travel, Vancouver is extremely close to the Portland International Airport. If you live somewhere in central Vancouver, it would probably take you about 15 minutes to get to PDX. It's only a couple miles away, so it makes it easy to cross over into Oregon and get to whatever destination that you're traveling to. Now let's talk about one of the most sought after communities in Southwest Washington. That of course is Camas. Camas is located just a couple miles east of Vancouver and about 12 miles to Portland International Airport. It takes you about 20 to 30 minutes to get to Portland International Airport, depending on where you are living in Camas. Camas was founded in 1906, and it's well known for its downtown historic area, which is comprised of local businesses and restaurants. It's also known for its high-performing school system, and of course, if you love the outdoors, you have Lacamas Lake and Lacamas hiking trails for those outdoor adventures. Camas's population is just over 27,500 people. It had a significant growth spurt between 2013 and 2023 with almost 29% increase in population. By 2045, it's anticipated to increase by almost another 8,000 people. And year over year, Camas has grown by about 2.58% in its population. Since Camas is one of the most sought after communities here, you can't talk about Camas without talking about its construction growth. One of the biggest developments that's going on right now is called the North Shore development, which overlooks the Columbia River just off the 192nd Avenue exit. Within that development, you have luxury homes, luxury townhouses, high-rise apartment complexes. They all have views of the Columbia River and the downtown Portland area. In addition to this development, they're putting in more restaurants, medical facilities, and other job opportunities that are going to bring some more growth to Camas as that development is built out. Of course, Camas is also known for its luxury home community. There are a ton of luxury properties in Camas, which means, of course, the median home sales price is significantly higher. If you were looking to purchase a home in Camas, typically you can anticipate to spend on about $700,000 or more. If you were looking for a property around the $600,000 price point, that would be considered a starter home in Camas. And that type of property you could get anywhere from about 1,400 square feet to maybe 1,800 square feet, depending on the property and neighborhood it's located in. Next up is Battleground, Washington. Battleground is about 17 miles north of Vancouver, and it's about 23 miles to the Portland International Airport. Depending on where you live within Battleground, typical time to the Portland International Airport is about 40 minutes. Battleground was established in 1951 and is a blend of rural charm with urban amenities, has numerous outdoor parks, and it has a thriving downtown area that is growing substantially. And within that downtown area, you can find a lot of cute shops and local restaurants. As of 2023, Battleground has about 23,000 people that live in it. Over the last decade, it's grown almost 22% with an average of almost 2% per year. And by 2045, the projected growth is to be almost 38,000 people living in Battleground. As of right now, in 2025, the city plans to have about 764 acres in its urban growth area to be developed, which is going to allow for more housing and employment opportunities. If you were looking to purchase a house in Battleground, right now the median price point is about just over $500,000. If you get into new construction, you're definitely going to be spending in the $700,000 price point. If you're lower than that, typically you're finding zero lot line homes where there's not much yard or townhome type community. If you're looking to purchase a home that's around $600,000, you can typically find something that was built within the last 10 years, and your square footage is going to be somewhere between 2,200 to 2,500 square feet, depending on area and neighborhood it's in, and you can definitely expect to get 3 to 4 bedrooms at that price point. Washougal, Washington, known as the gateway to the gorge and one of the most beautiful areas in Southwest Washington. Washougal is about 12 miles to the east of Vancouver, just on the other side of Camas, and is about a 30-minute drive to Portland International Airport. Could be a little bit longer depending on where you live in Washougal, because Washougal does have a bunch of rural areas beyond its suburban communities. As of 2023, Washougal has just over 18,000 residents, and by 2045, they're expecting that number to be around 25,000 people. Right now in Washougal, there is a lot of development going on, especially in the downtown area where they're getting ready to revitalize everything. And Washougal kind of sits on a hillside, and because of that, right now they're building a lot of luxury properties up in that community. And those homes usually will range around $900,000 plus, but you're typically getting a very high-end home, and a lot of those have the view of either Mount Hood or the Columbia River. The median sales price in Washougal is actually a little bit higher than Vancouver, with about a $585,000 median home sales price. If you want to purchase a $600,000 home, you can expect to get probably about a 2,000 square foot property. Again, similar to Battleground, you can get something that was built in the last 10 years, but you also have a bunch of older homes that sit around the outskirts of the immediate downtown Washougal area, which typically those are going to be craftsman style, very old construction. Sometimes they'll have basements. Sometimes they're on larger lots that can be subdivided. There is a lot to offer in Washougal for the $600,000 price point. So if you're thinking about moving to Southwest Washington, don't count out Washougal for looking at a home. Now, you can't talk about Southwest Washington without talking about one of the fastest growing cities in the area. That, of course, is Ridgefield. Ridgefield was one of the smallest communities that we used to have here. Ridgefield was also where U-Haul was established and created. If you didn't know that, it's a little fact. In 2010, Ridgefield only had 4,500 people. In 2020, it was over 10,000. And in 2023, it was already over 15,000 people. And in 2035, it's estimated to be at a number of over 26,000 people. That is how fast Ridgefield is growing. As you can tell, Ridgefield was a small, sleepy town at one time. Now it has some major construction going on between new homes and large commercial facilities, one of which is a satellite office for the Clark College campus. Peace Health Hospital is also putting a facility there. Ridgefield just had a Costco put in, and most recently coming up is an In-N-Out Burger. The city of Ridgefield is doing a major development project at the Port of Ridgefield, which is an over 40-acre site. It's going to add some amazing new features there to continue on with the growth that is already happening within Ridgefield. Now, if you were looking to purchase a property in Ridgefield, the median home sales price is about $604,000, and that's mostly because there's a lot of new construction that is happening there, and with the newer construction, it tends to be a little bit more expensive. But fear not, you can find a property for $600,000 in Ridgefield. Typically, it's going to be somewhere between about 1,600 square feet and on the high end about 2,200 square feet. And you should be able to get a 3 to 4 bedroom home fairly easily at that price point in Ridgefield. Your options are a little bit limited, but it is something that you can do. Now, if you're wondering where Ridgefield is, it's about 16 miles north of Vancouver, just off the I-5 freeway. And if you were trying to get to the Portland International Airport from Ridgefield, it typically is going to take you about 40 to 50 minutes, depending on where you live at in Ridgefield, because even though there are a bunch of suburban areas that are being built in Ridgefield, on the outer portions of it, there are a ton of rural properties that are luxury type homes that you can also purchase as well. Now, the last area I want to talk about is not really a city in the Vancouver metro area. It's more of a suburb of Vancouver, but it is an amazing rural community known as Hockinson, Washington. Hockinson is just a couple miles north of Vancouver, and as I mentioned before, it's a lot of rural homes that are sitting there in that area. It is a very close, tight-knit community. It is the smallest of all of these towns that I'm talking about, and their population as of 2024 is just above 6,000 people. Now, Hockinson is not expected to have the same growth rate as these other areas, and that's because of the mere fact that it is a rural area. But if you're looking for upscale acreage properties, Hockinson is the area that you want to look in. Hockinson's median home sales price is just over $900,000, which is obviously substantially more expensive than any of the other communities that I mentioned, but you are typically getting a home on more than an acre and upwards of around 5 to 10 acres, depending on what price point that you want to be in. And when you purchase a home out in Hockinson, your budget can really determine what type of property you're going to buy. You would have endless possibilities if you had a substantially larger budget to purchase a home in Hockinson. Now, since the median home sales price is about $900,000 in Hockinson, there's not really much you can ever choose from for the $600,000 price point unless you're closer in at the Vancouver border, which you can find some new construction homes there. As I mentioned before, since the median home sales price is over $900,000 in Hockinson, you really cannot find a property for $600,000 in that area. Usually, if you want to find a property out there, you're spending a minimum starting point of around $700,000. but for 900 to a million, obviously you're getting a pretty nice home out in that area. And as you move up in price point, you're just gonna get a much better home with a lot more land, usually a higher build quality as well. So if you're looking for a desirable area, but is a little bit more expensive, has that rural feel, Hockinson is definitely the place that you wanna consider. So obviously all of these communities exemplify the diverse and dynamic growth that is happening here in Southwest Washington. Whether you're looking to relocate here or invest in any one of these areas, each area offers its own unique opportunities and has a bright future for growth and potential. What are your thoughts about the rapid growth of these cities? Have you experienced it firsthand, or are you considering a move here? Please share your experiences or insight in the comments below. That way we can let everyone know about these communities and any inside information that you might have. So if you have any questions about Vancouver, Camas, Washougal, Battleground, Ridgefield, or Hockinson, please leave a comment below and I would love to answer those for you. Also, in 2025, we're bringing you some great new content and videos, and I would love it if you liked, subscribed, and commented below, and we will see you on the next one.